who are new to this, new to the Coffee per Charchas, these are conversations that we have with some of the charter members at TiE, and at times the format is, they speak to you directly, or otherwise like today we have a conversation. So we have Naveen and Navas, and Naveen speaking to Navas is, that's the broad format. Just to remind you, we started off this series in 2015. We've had a couple of interactions with Navas, but Navas remains one of the popular businessmen in Kerala, and we always want to hear more and more of what he's doing. And he has that ability of trivializing everything into very interesting anecdotes and very interesting learnings for all of us. And that's a capability that you will not see in a lot of entrepreneurs. And I'm sure Naveen will extract the best out of it. Naveen is at the helm of Popular Motors now, and he leads the entire journey right now. And Navas, as you know, he's part of Eastern, and now there's been a large liquidity event, and probably we'll hear some bit of that. I'll invite both of them onto the stage. We have a question and answer session at the end, so just pile on your questions, and we'll ask you questions.
Evening, everyone. 2 years back, during the COVID time, I had the same coffee pe charcha with Navas. So this time I'm ensuring that I'll ask him so many tough questions that he doesn't want me as a moderator. The only problem is Navas got this disarming smile. I don't know how it works at home. I have to ask Shireen about it. But it definitely works with every other person.
Good evening.
2 years back when we had it was an online session during TiECon. At that time Navas was still a businessman. And today he dons the role of a CEO of his own company. So what happened during these 2 years, and how do you see the change between owning the business and running the business as a professional CEO?
Yeah, as you rightly said, when you become CEO, you have KRAs and KPIs. So, and you also have variables. You also have salaries, and along with salary, you have variables. So this time I got the first check of variable pay. That's most interesting stuff. But a lot of unlearning. We work on something which is passionate to us. Generally, it is our own ideas. We try to get it implemented through people. So it's mostly directive than collaborative. So the important change of being a CEO is nothing but you have to collaborate with people. You have to get things done by them, and you don't have the option of micromanaging, because everybody has a very clear schedule of authority, and it's always better not to get into their area and be directive in those. So this is in nutshell one of the most differentiating thing. But along with that, what happens is the end result always matters. When we do our own business, we don't even, if you reach, you reach. Whereas here, generally in MNC, it's like you are either 2% less than the budget, or 2 or 3% higher than the budget. It's not like too far away from the budget sort of a thing.
Has the dynamics between you and your employees changed when you've changed your chairs?
The faces turn towards the power centers. So till 2020, I was the MD and CEO of the organization. So then, every face will be turning towards you for anything and everything. But after that, people, they very well understand that over a period of 3 years, I am going to be out of the organization. So there are other power centers which they need to cater to. So that change happens. But I was mentally prepared right from the beginning that these sort of soft issues I will have to go through. So I think I have pretty well managed it.
What was the family's reaction to all this? This entire process where they're confused about selling out your next gen who might have wanted to come into business, brother's family, Sherin, all of them?
Yeah, within the family, other than my mom, all were in, we were in concern for getting this deal done. See, the issue here is we all create value, but we also need to have the courage to unlock it. So, in business, if you unlock it, means you have to sell your shares or you have to make money some way by taking advantage out of it. So I think I was able to convince family, but more than family, the issue is from the outside. There is an outside in view of what you should do and what you should not do. So prior to this, I sold one piece of land in my hometown Adimali, and 6 months down the line, the newspaper says that I have sold stake in Eastern. So the reading goes like, avanando kolpatti chadi. So that's the reason he sold it out.
You have other businesses other than Eastern. So you have Sunidra, you have East TiE. So how are all those doing and what is the plan for those?
Yeah, till from 2010 onwards, McCormick, we had a journey with McCormick. So our entire focus was towards running condiments entity. So we were not much focused on the other group companies. So what we have right now, I knew that if money comes in, there will be a lot of plans and programs that will come up. So I thought it's better to be a bit prepared than going and taking ad hoc decisions. So we brought in a CEO for the group, and his name is George. George is the group CEO. Along with George, we have a group CFO and a group CHRO. So under the group team, each company has got their CXOs. So each company was powered by bringing in CEOs and CXOs from other organizations where they had more than 20 years of experience. So I think it got well structured much before the money came in. So we were able to guide those companies into a better space.
What do you see those companies 5 years, 10 years from now?
Yeah, we have created a 3 to 5 year plan. Those companies are also capable enough to create value. We should obviously take advantage of that in the near future. Not that I will sell, but I will take advantage of it.
In the last Coffee Pay Charcha, one of the questions that I had asked was, do you regret not taking your company to an IPO and took private equity money or McCormick or anybody else? So any of these companies, Sunidra, East TiE or any of those, would you have a different thought process in the journey?
See, the thing is, in this entire journey, the learning is that if you start running the organization, then you are getting into the day-to-day nuances. So in the future, what we see as family is that we should be managing the portfolio. There should be CEOs coming in, CEOs running the show, with full freedom, not like the Kerala freedom. Full freedom with P&L responsibility. If they are running it, then we should be managing the portfolio as investors rather than going and being there as the managing director or getting involved as directors of those companies.
Coming to Kerala story, not the actual Kerala story running in the theatres, but since Navas mentioned it, there's a saying that if you want to be a millionaire, start off as a billionaire and buy a plane or start an airlines. We keep reading newspapers for the last couple of days of the Kerala Soccer League. So, as a billionaire, is sports your way to becoming a millionaire? What is your take on Kerala Soccer League and your playing with sports right now?
Yeah, sports is obviously going to be a big value creator. If you look at IPL valuation, each team is valued about $1 billion. And if you take KSL, we have taken the rights for Kerala Football Association, and KSL is the league which we are starting. If you take ISL viewership, 45% of the viewership is from Kerala, and more than that, it's a social entrepreneurship. See, currently in the rural area, you see kids going and playing sevens football. You get 500 rupees, 1000 rupees a day, and put together, if you look at his earnings, it will be in the range of 50,000 rupees. We have an opportunity to create a livelihood in this category, because if you are hiring a guy, if you're scouting the right people and hiring them at the early age, you will be able to start it at 1,50,000 rupees a year. And as of now, two Keralites, one is Rahul and the other guy's name is Sahel. Both are earning about 3 crore a year. So immense potential. We were exporting nurses from here throughout the world, and I could see that Kerala can be an exporter of football players.
So your foray into sports is definitely on in a big way.
We are deep diving into it, and it's going to change the face of not just football, many other games in the future.
But do you want to still be within Kerala, or you want to take it outside of Kerala?
So what we are trying to do is, we don't want to spread it too thin, in the sense that, if you start doing a pan-India stuff, you need huge amount of money to deal with it. Whereas if you can create a better story in Kerala, if Kerala succeeds, Northeast is an amazing market. Goa is a big market, Maharashtra, Bengal, Punjab, the Minerva football team, they have nurtured players, and now they have given it on loan at 11 crore rupee to an ISL team. So there is huge opportunity in sports.
But where do you see the Kerala Soccer League over the next 3-4 years? How many teams? Is it district-wise? What is it?
We see 6 to 8 teams coming in as of now. We probably will be happy if we are able to get the right names. Even at 6, it will be good. Going to 8 and then to 12.
But you would only be managing this and not managing a team per se.
We will not be managing team. We will own the league, and then it's like the English football league, where ownership will be different and the teams will be different.
The only difference between the Western countries, especially England in terms of soccer, is that they have various levels of the league. In India, it's been disjointed with Reliance coming up with the football league, and you have the Mohun Bagan, East Bengal, that used to be there much earlier than this. And then you had Santosh Trophy and all that. So where do you see all this playing out in the next 5 years or so?
The federation-led, when I say federation, All India Football Federation-led tournaments will remain, like the Duran Cup, the Federation Cup, Santosh Trophy, and all this will remain. This is going to be like the ISL and the stuff like that. IPL and stuff.
But would this get recognition of FIFA also at some point?
Yeah. It is fully recognized. It's recognized by All India Football Federation as well as the Kerala Football Association.
Coming back to, so between what you ran passionately for quite some time in terms of condiments, and now a completely different venture into sports, which one excites you more?
Yeah, you do something for 30 years. Monotonous is the real word for that. But
there was no spice left in it.
No spice left in. Here, it's like a celebrity business. You become a Shah Rukh Khan and you are somewhere there, right? Likewise, I feel that we will be able to create lot of 2 million, 3 million, 5 million salaried football players in the country.
Middle class values, you have to actually have an educational background, and that's what all parents strive for. And if you strive, move into movies, sports, any of those, it's looked down upon, and the risk is very high. Would you think that something like this would mitigate that risk to a large extent?
See, there was a era where parents wanted kids to be either an engineer or a doctor, and that moved. And that my immediate example which I had seen was my next door guy in Adimali. His name was something else, but then his name got changed to Sachin, and his father's name was Baby. Baby used to take his both the kids to Thodupuzha for training. Now Sachin Baby is the Ranji Trophy captain, and he is also making good money. So these sort of one or two examples actually inspires people, and I'm sure it's going to change the face.
So I've seen Zubin playing superb cricket. And I've also seen Zubin's movie. But as a parent, did you encourage him into either of these sectors?
I would encourage him for both the thing. Movie and sports both are both brings in visibility at much easier pace. If you look at building an Eastern brand, you have to spend. I think I would have spent over a period of time nothing less than 250 crores advertising the brand. Here you be in a movie and then you are next day. I get completely worried because people come and ask for autograph or the selfie with Zubin. So that's the way it is.
But is he planning more such ventures, more movies, or?
I think he's not that interested. He wants to be in business.
If taking back 20 years earlier, and if this opportunity had come up at that point of time, the Ortla opportunity, would your decision have been very different from what you did today?
Yeah, I was able to dilute 26% to McCormick at that point of time. I feel that was I was too lucky that Papa agreed to that. If that didn't had happened, for me giving up the majority would have been a painful affair at this point of time. So I was able to convince Dad on, we need to create value. Value creation is like, the examples which I gave was like സ്ഥലം വാങ്ങിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നമ്മൾ ആദ്യം ഒരു 1 ലക്ഷം രൂപയ്ക്ക് വയ്ക്കും, അടുത്ത ഒരു 1.5 ലക്ഷം രൂപയ്ക്ക് വയ്ക്കും, അങ്ങനെ as you keep selling, the ultimate amount, if it reaches 5 lakh, then 5 lakh is the residual price of the land. So that I think he was convinced. If not for he agreeing to this, I would have been in trouble. I would have lost my sleep, thinking whether I had done the right thing or not.
So in most other countries and even in India, a lot of businessmen either foray into sports or into politics. So you have Bloomberg, who was a New York mayor, who still runs one of the most profitable businesses in the world. So what about Navas Meeran? Other than TiE, Coffee Pe Charcha, would we see Navas as a political?
I don't think I have the patience to, we have gone through, we have seen many of our friends getting into politics. I don't think I have the patience to pursue that.
You can always become a Rajya Sabha member and pursue that.
Yeah.
No answers. Okay. What's the next generation? What is Subin doing? What is Zeba doing? Have you got them involved in business, or have you given them some direction into what next?
Yeah, what we have done is as I said earlier, we have created this structure. So above all this structure, the group executives, below that the group CXOs comes in. Above that, the family holding is there. And from the family, each member is responsible for one company, one brand or one institution. So the reason we did was that, people coming and talking to different members of the family and creating chaos, we thought we should be avoiding that. So a family member will have responsibility of that particular organization, and anything that need to be discussed, we as a family will discuss only with that particular person. So my wife. Sorry.
I've got that recorded. It's going on YouTube.
Yeah.
Sharon, slip of the tongue, no.
My wife is in charge of Sunidra. So I know you. So I'm awaiting something.
When you go home, you'll be welcomed on a nice Sunidra mattress.
Yeah. Generally, chairman is what chairman means the guy who doesn't have much of work. So I'll be the chairman of the group.
So what do you review on a daily basis? I mean, how do you review it?
So we have a very structured review going on. And the ORM goes on a weekly basis. Plus we have management review which happens once in a month. And then we have quarterly meetings happening. But then the good thing which is happening right now is that any initiative has been defined as a project.
Okay.
So there is a cross-functional team which works on projects. So the reason why we have created a cross-functional team is to make sure that others in the team also get an exposure into what is happening in marketing. The guy in marketing will have an exposure on what is happening in supply chain, or somebody in purchase will have an exposure on what is happening in sales. So there is cross-functional teams that's been created, and each cross-functional team will have either a weekly meeting or fortnightly meeting or once in a month meeting. So this is what is guiding the organization. So this is all done by Orkla on a normal way. I have shamelessly copied it into our group companies.
In terms of, people say that in terms of managing the portfolio. So what is the key aspect would be in terms of capital allocation to various companies and taking that decision. But when it's your own family looking after one or the other company, how do you take that capital allocation decision?
Every company goes through a budget, and there will be return on investment which will be looked at, and ultimately it's going to be the net asset value. Increase or decrease in the net asset value is what we will be looking at in the future. But when I said that a family member is in charge of that unit, they don't have any operational role, no P&L responsibility, nothing. They will be attending all their meetings. If at all we have something related to that, the immediate call goes to that person, that's all. They don't have any P&L responsibility.
They only in terms of getting the information and sharing it within the family as to what decisions to take. Who are some of the businessmen or leaders that you've respected, and what are the reasons for it?
Yeah, immediate name which comes to my mind is my dad, because I have this problem of too much of ideas but less of execution skill. That I understood during that 15 to 20 years of association with my dad. So he sticks to what he has in mind, and or what the overall idea is all about, and then he put all effort into the execution of that. Time has been fixed, timelines are scheduled, and all the things are there. So I have after that I have consciously decided that I will not get into any of the execution thing, because I will keep moving the timeline. So that's my dad. And you have I've been my association with CIA was really contributing. I was part of the CIA Southern region and then the National Council and stuff like that. So what I could make out is that I've close interaction with people like Pratipto Mahapatra, who was the CEO of RPG Group, then Sandhanam, who is the CEO of what is that, Saint Gobain Glasses, and so these are all people who have really, asked provocative questions, because in many of the time when I talk about an idea, Sandhanam used to ask me, what is the objective? What is the end objective? So, 8 out of 10, I was not able to address the objective in a very clear way. Because the thing is that, an idea comes in, every idea has got monetary benefit. Everything is business. You make money out of it. But what is that you're trying to achieve out of it is one of the things which we generally miss. So I started asking myself, if I'm getting in, what is the end objective? What all are the things that actually brings in money? What all are the things that brings in happiness, a sense of accomplishment, creating a team, building people? These are the things which actually started, asking me back on
this journey with Orkla. What is your biggest learning from it?
The biggest learning working with Orkla is that they will not go with 10 or 15 ideas. They will, come out with 2 or 3, and then put all effort into execution. So I'll tell you a classic example. I used to, I speak extempo during the meeting. So in Orkla meeting, there is a process where they actually we write the speech and give. I mean, every time I speak the same stuff. So I called the CEO of Orkla India and asked him, this I had spoken 2 weeks back. Then he smiled and said, Navas, don't worry, keep talking same stuff. That is the power of communication. In fact, people in Adimali, the entire village of Adimali knows what the vision and mission of Eastern is. Because I think it has gone to the head of our employees at least 50 times through various ways. We also brought in a mentalist who came and did exercise within the group, and they were making sure that the vision, mission is all engraved in the minds of people. And that was a huge learning, because we tend to forget the ideas. We come up with big idea, we'll say that okay, we'll do this, but nobody to follow it up. No one will care about it. Probably even if we care about it, we don't have much of follow up on that. So here it's like,
Are you taking this to your other companies in terms and to the KSL?
yeah, that's why I said, I'm shamelessly copying everything that is happening there, putting it in practice in my organization, and nothing wrong in it as far as learning is concerned. Whatever, I have not gone through an MBA, I have not gone through an I League institution. All what I have learned is through interaction with people, asking for the right answers, and there is nothing right and wrong in execution. You might feel that X has worked in an organization that probably may not work in another organization, but you need to have the courage to course correct, and making mistakes and allowing people to make mistakes should be the tagline of the growth of any organization. That's what I feel, because when you do this delegation, we are encouraging people to take decision. When you allow people to take decision, they obviously will fail 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, then you need to handhold them. Otherwise, this entire thing will be, there was a point where 3,700 people in my organization have my number, directly ask me, there is a problem like here, what should I do? An accident happening in, we have some 400, 500 trucks plying in the market. Obviously, accidents can happen. Immediately, accident has happened. What should I do? And we were used to dealing with all that stuff. But in the last 2 years, peace of mind is there. You are not answering everything. There are people authorized to take that call, and they are running it. If there is an issue, we will have to get it. Otherwise, they are capable, and if all these people are much more capable than us to deal with things. We feel that if you do, only then things will go right.
So there are no regrets over the last 2 years in terms of...
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Okay. I'll just ask a few rapid fire questions now. So first is with sports, football, basketball, cricket, volleyball.
Basketball.
So we know what's the next big thing company. Books, sports, movies, travel.
Sports, travel.
Sports and travel. Cochin, Adimali, Oslo.
Adimali.
Spices, mattresses, tires, angel investment, real estate, sports.
Angel investments.
Let's elaborate on that. I mean, you have invested in now how many companies? Through CAN, without CAN?
The current number is 8. And yesterday we got a term sheet for one company at 50 million valuation, pre-money valuation. And there are places where millions have gone. But what actually encourages me is that my dad, with his limited education and limited resources, was able to. He got lot of help from people. From 1983, when he became an industrialist, from a normal trader to an industrialist, he got lot of handholding, and this handholding were all from quarters where we didn't have any relationship. So if somebody comes to me, I always openly talk to them, tell them what, if I would have been in their seat, what I would have done, I will definitely tell them. I will not mislead them. And I also make sure that, this handholding actually is resulting in something good for them. So angel investment is one thing where there is a new breed of entrepreneurs which has come in, and it's not just one person who puts in the money, but the entire ecosystem, the entire society is supporting them by one way or other. So it actually brings in more of opportunity for people to succeed, and then by that way you will also be spreading the employment opportunity.
But what do you look for the most when you make an investment into any of the organizations?
It's primarily the promoter's passion, but promoter's passion has another issue, which is I would call it the founder syndrome. The promoter, generally what happens is he or she will keep trying to better the product. I would suggest that bring the product into the market, do course correction on the way, rather than trying to better the product. Because by the time you take to better the product, another competition or another solution would have already been come to the market. So you lose the first time mover advantage.
Another 4-5 minutes and then we'll open it out to the... But to redeem yourself for your earlier mistake in terms of wives, I'll ask you a question on rapid fire, and you will be caught on YouTube. Sherin, Zubin, Zeba. You have to choose one.
Of course, Sherin.
So there's always this, I think Warren Buffett said that a couple of days ago, that somebody should write each person should write their obituary first and then live up to it. So what would you want written as your epitaph or sign-off statement of Navas Meeran?
You know, see, I see this as if I was successful in my first business, I would have probably become more arrogant and you know, I would have been a completely different person. That's what I feel. Because with the enthusiasm with which I got into it and I lost 14 crores of rupee, and my dad saying that it's all part of the game, and winning and losing is, you know, it's not all the same for everyone. You know, some might be, you know, very good business, but business, I mean, profitability wise, it would not have succeeded. Another one, not very, you know, top of the line stuff, but you would have made a lot of money out of it. So my point here is, you know, winning and losing is not gauging your ability. You keep trying. You keep trying. My dad got into spices at the age of 45. He was successful in at the age of 22, 23. You know, and he failed miserably during his later 30s, and then only he got into spices. So if somebody fails, you know, I feel that you know, it's not the person's fault. It's the ecosystem. Everything would have worked in a different way.
So my question, before that one, I just said some things also, because creating a brand and developing the same one and getting a good brand valuation is not it's not a rocket science. I'm sure that one, it's beyond that one. So does it happen accidentally, or otherwise we already planned for that journey to create a brand value? And after that, because now the things are happening in Kerala, because I think few years back, that is not a common thing in Kerala. The Kerala stories we can see. But now I am sure that there are many brands, they are in the same line. They know and they understood the importance of creating a brand valuation and protecting in the proper way and getting the benefits of that one. So let me know, this is planned or what is the journey actually? I just want to know the journey of that brand.
But creating value was definitely a planned thing, because in 96, 97 is the first time when I went to Bombay to attend for a private equity conclave. At that point of time, you know, you had a lot of learnings on what all things need to be done to create a private equity investable company to make the organization fit for investment. So we did all that stuff. Then private equity came, and then the strategic guy came, and the strategic guy had to exit. So we were able to give 3 times return to them, and then now in the course of doing that, we had to lose control of the organization. But it was planned, and there are instances where things happen without planning also. But in our case, it was planned to create value. And brand building, you have to see business in 2 ways. One is normal business, and in that you make yearly profits and stuff like that. On the other side, creating value. So creating value means you have to create that saleability in the market. So for that, demand and supply will also matter. If I was in the market when 5 other brands were there in the market, then my valuation would have gone down at least by 25 to 30 or 50%. But the timing also matters. So when you are in the market, there are not many takers. Not many sellers in the market. So these are things which you need to keep in mind.
Next door neighbor to us, It's very glad that a Cochin headquartered spice company. When we think about sambar, of course we used to think about Eastern only. So it was last 2 years ago. It really surprised me how come in Norwegian conglomerate or Kla that has been taken over this thing, because that time onwards the query was inside the mind, because we are all into business. So how this opportunity came to you? That is my first question. The second question is that when acquired by the conglomerate, what was the criteria for you to appoint the CEO? That is very important. Yes, your person, your CEO, John. Yes, for Eastern. This is a joint venture, no? That is what I understood.
Yeah. So George was appointed as CEO of the organization to make sure that there is a proper organization that's been built by professionals. Because when money comes in, what happens is you tend to take a lot of I will not say logical decisions, but we tend to take a lot of soft decisions. So we didn't want to get through that. So any money put in should be based on clear return on capital employed, and for that there should be a proper organizational structure in place. For a food company, I will take the example of Nestle. Nestle is an house of brands. You have Kit Kat, you have Maggi, likewise you have too many brands there. Orkla does hyper-local in the sense, in Kerala, if X brand is very solid in the south of Kerala, they go and purchase that brand also. So they are also in the process of creating brands within one umbrella. But at the same time, they want to be the champion in that area. If it is Trivandrum, it should be the brand with the highest market share. So you will definitely be hearing about a lot of takeovers happening throughout the country. My close friend Srinath has recently announced they have got close to 350 crores of rupee for their brand.
Nirabara also.
Yeah, Nirabara also, but classic case is Brahmins, which is a Central Kerala dominated brand. But for them also they got valuation.
And one more thing, this when we are with the European companies or US companies, especially I'm coming into the Norwegian company. Indians are very result oriented, but we are not that much process oriented. How you judge on this?
Transition was really orchestrated. We had a project called Project Unity. As I said earlier, every initiative is a project. So this was called Project Unity, where both companies are coming together. The respect for people, irrespective of their capability in articulating things. Many of our people doesn't have that sort of English language skills, but the way they have dealt with it, at no point, none of our people have got into a situation where they come and tell me that they are stressed. And if at all there is a scenario, HR was really helpful, and they have gone and worked around it. If somebody was too much of demanding, they were advised that this was an organization which was not too much of a goal-oriented thing. It was like a family. We were running organization as a family, because insurance, we had a basic minimum insurance. But if it crosses the limit also, family used to intervene. Like if I want to take say 20 lakh insurance, the premium will be high. So we probably might take only 5 lakh. And in that 5 lakh also, we go and negotiate with the hospitals for each and every intervention. So we have a list of amount that need to be paid to a hospital. If it goes beyond, we used to take advantage of, we used to chip in the money required. But when it comes to Orkla, it doesn't work like that. And I just digressed, sorry. The first thing is to talk about the previous meetings minutes. I'm making it as simple as that. But then, along with that, you have issues to be sorted out. A lot of resolutions need to happen. And in many of the cases, what is happening is, in MNC, they become too bureaucratic. They tend to work in silos. But Orkla, India, has a very classic style of management wherein in everything there is a cross-functional intervention. So the other department can't say that, I don't know about it. They have to deep dive, they have to take a proactive approach and then solve the issues. So we have weekly meetings, we have fortnightly meetings, we have quarterly meetings, monthly meetings. So within Eastern Condiments, which is we call it the business unit under Orkla India, we have executive committees which have a lot of people involved, and from there is a management committee where me and 5 of my CXOs are there. Then we have a Orkla business enterprise meeting, which includes both the company put together.
I understand that you were very keen to invest in a lot of startups, right? I think angel investment is one of the keen area like you are looking at after this the current business, right? So is there any specific segment you are looking at from a Kerala perspective to support the startups from Kerala? Probably, like, is there any specific segment which you are really interested in?
We generally look at whether it is scalable or not. That scalability is one thing which we always consider as a major, influencer.
Okay. Thank you.
My question is, which one will you excite you more, 0 to 1 growth or 1 to 10? At the same time, you are an angel investor. The angel investment is the most exciting part for you. So there is some difference, right? You are entering into a company which is growing from 1 to 10, right? The angel investment. But you are a person of ideas. So which one excites you more, from 0 to 1 or 1 to 10 growth for a company?
They feel that we will keep on putting money into it. So finally, there came a stage where we have to take a call saying that we will commit certain amount and we will stick to that amount. Beyond that, we will not take our exposure into that. So that's one thing. But still, if there is something that is coming in and which is scalable, in the angel format, we are game to putting money into it. But off late, we are looking at least some traction of, say, 1 crore, 2 crore, 3 crore. That is what we are looking at in the current scenario.
To an employee in a business, wherein in the first case, as the owner of Eastern, everyone came to you and the buck stopped with you. You didn't have to ask anyone. In today's role, you are reporting to different people, and that requires a mindset change. It also requires our ego to be a little diminished. I don't know, but how did you manage this, and what role does this have had to play in your life to where you are today?
Obviously, there were a lot of instances where you get, it matters because people tend to move with people who are powerful and of advantage to them in the long run. So they probably may not be as close to you as they were earlier. So that obviously is there. Second thing is the most disturbing stuff is that we are all used to taking quick call. If something comes in, we know that this has happened, and we also, as a policy framework, as a policy, we don't do this. All that stuff is there. So I'll cite one example. We never used to advertise in newspapers. We only used to do TV advertisement and women's magazine advertisement. But when Orkla came in, they said, you have to take a newspaper. So the entire newspaper guy, they are not in a position to advertise in everything. They advertise in 2 or 3. You know how many papers are there in Kerala? They will all keep calling. So these are all things which you tend to get irritated, but then fact of life, and money is there in bank.
Just a follow-up question on that. See, no one questions you as a business owner. And as a CEO, you're being questioned all the time. That requires a mindset change, right? Can you touch upon that?
I mean, CEO's responsibility is to attain the budget on the top line as well as on the bottom line. Even if you don't reach the top line, it doesn't matter. But then you have to take care of the bottom line. So to take care of the bottom line, you have to have profit protection plan. By the 6th month, you know where the 1D is going. So you probably must start, regulating on expenditures and stuff like that, so that your bottom line is. This is the difference which I feel with Orkla, that they are not directive. After the board meeting, they will say that, Navas, all good, everything going good, you have made our life easy. Then I asked why? No, otherwise we have to be directive. If you are not doing good, we have to be directive. We will come and tell you that do this, do all that stuff to make sure that you reach the targets and profits. That's how it is being treated. But having said that, you have to invest, say, 25 crores in a factory. You have to invest into a technology. All that requires Orkla ASA's approval. So, it's good because a lot of people work around, talk about it, all the positives are cited, all the negatives are cited, and then it goes to them. And if they feel like it's good for the organization, that's it. But I would narrate one experience with the Orkla ASA HR. Helena gave me one. Navas, I want to help you in running this organization in the 3 years time. I said, what is it, Helena? She said, take decision that is good for the organization, not for you, good for the organization. I think that has taken out my entire fogging from what need to be taken, what decision need to be taken. It was a one-liner which made it very clear that it's not you, it is the organization. Is that important?
Take one last question. I think
I can't give up without asking something spicy. In a place which is known for its crab culture, and that when it becomes spicy, how have you managed all this, the drag that you've been getting in the public?
Yeah, the first online media attack came in 2011, 3 months after my dad died. It was related to the Sudan contamination. It was actually contamination. The ink got into the chili and then it got spreaded, and the trace of 13 parts per billion was identified. So if it is in million, then it would have been intentional. So then 3 nights I was not able to sleep. I get on to bed and then will get up from a springboard. So 3 nights after, my wife took me to a psychiatrist and gave me some pills, and then afterwards it's like, okay, Malayanangil varate, njan ready ennulla line. From then on, I mean, it's part of the Kerala culture. You don't see you want everything right. So currently what is going on is on the pesticides residue side. Pesticide, without pesticide, a farmer will not survive. He will lose this entire acreage in one night if there is a pest attack. So they have to use pesticide. But as an organization, what we can do is train them on how best you can reduce the residue. So we have a huge team working in the market, in the farm, which will educate farmers on what is the frequency, what is the dosage, which are the graded pesticides that's been allowed by the government. We are doing a lot of exercise there. But, government comes up with a notification which says that, out of 478 or so, 172 pesticides have been studied by the government. The rest of the everything will fall under default MRL, which is 0.001. It can happen by way of air, by rain, drifting can happen anyways. So 0.001 is not humanly possible. So the scientists, they're sitting there, they say that, these are the things which we haven't studied. So if it is there, it has to be 0.001. It's not possible. But then we have to do lot of, one of the thing which difference between we managing organization vis-a-vis a multinational managing organization, the cost of governance is too high. We know the ways and means to deal with. For them, everything is 5 lakh a day, advocates and.
You want to ask a question? No. So thanks everyone. Thanks Navas. But one last question before you go. So 2024, you're going to step down as CEO. What are you going to do with all your free time? Are you going to attend more TiE meetings? Jacob is looking up to you. Are you going to go to Brazil? Are you?
Brazil anyway, I had committed. Yeah. So we'll see.
Non-committal answers. Please note.
But see, end of the day, to engage with people, whatever little knowledge you have, sharing with people, handholding people, handholding my own family members. If Sharon becomes successful, then it's going, that's the best thing that can happen. But two entrepreneurs within the family, that too on the same bed, is a tough stuff, but then you have to live with it.
You're not redeeming yourself, right? So one last rapid fire. You mentioned and you alluded to CIA and how it has influenced you. So TiE or CIA?
CIA.